Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Eldrazi Ramp on the play for game one. Now, you might be asking yourself something, Gil. It says you're already 1-0. What's up with that? I thought this was the beginning of the video. Yes, and I started recording and streaming, mind you, and I found that my mic was no longer recording and I cannot get it to work. Once it stops working, my mic will not work until I restart my computer. It has something to do with my USB ports, I swear, because it also affects my mouse, affects my keyboard. They're not as responsive, they're not as precise. It's just a mess. I recorded it nonetheless, so it's saved. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple it to the end of this video. So you're going to get the intro, you're going to get the outro, and then you're going to get an extra mic-less video at the end. It's still going to be only 5 matches, but that's going to be what I'm going to do, so that way you guys can still get all 5 matches worth of video. Debating here whether I want to rumble. I think I do, actually. So we're just going to rumble here. And then another temple, grab you. We're going to pass, and we're set up pretty nicely here to do a ton of damage next turn. We're A, ramping to our Sire, or B, we're kicking Myco spawns, and C, we have a K command online. So we're in a really good position here, to say the least. So initially I was thinking, we'll K command the Guided Souls, but we really don't need to, which is the nice part here, at least not right now. It's not like they're able to float, and even still the K command will just ignore power toughness, so we just care about getting rid of it before it can float something. Voice of Victory is fine. Yep, not an issue. So we'll definitely get rid of the Guide, because we really don't care about the Voice of Victory at all. We'll draw. World Breaker, even better. So we are going to start by kicking the Myco spawn. Myco kick, hit the Sacred Foundry, yield all. And from here we'll grab another temple. And we'll K command. Do we want to Scry Draw Exile? I think we will Scry Draw Exile. And we already have 7, so we can sacrifice the spawn to dig 2. And done. Guide is down. Another K command's fantastic. I also kind of do want that land, so we don't have a land drop. So we'll go top, draw, and pass. Yeah, I'm thinking we're in a pretty advantageous position here. We have the next, 2 additional turns. We're just going to be kicking their stuff and also have a K command waiting in the wings. I don't foresee my opponent having a fun time here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 10, 6. Unfortunately, we're 1 short of being able to do too much here. Looks like they're going to float the Voice. That's fine. We can get rid of the Voice, or we can get rid of the Guided Souls even. I'm not exactly too pressed one way or another. We'll take the 4 down to 13. Paying cost for what in the what? Discharge, question mark? Why would he discharge now? What a weird thing to do. Okay, sure. We'll draw. K command. So we're going to go Wooded Foothill and fetch for a forest. So, I mean, we could Breaker here and get rid of the Guided Souls, or we can go Myco Spawn here, kick. Let me just go Myco Spawn, kick, honestly. Myco Spawn, kick in, hit the Sacred Foundry. We'll grab another temple at this point, I suppose. Yeah. And I'm going to K command. I'm going to Scry Draw Exile again. We're going to get rid of the Voice of Victory since it's floated. And done. Voice down. There's Ugin. There's Ice Till. There's Talisman. Don't need Talisman. I love Ugin here. Ice Till's honestly not needed here. Something to gain top draw. And we'll pass. And pass. So unless it's in a Johnny, they shouldn't be able to float the guide. Looks like opponent just doesn't have any lands. Alright, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess, how much mana do I actually have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, so 2, 6, 7, 4. So I don't have enough for what I want to do, which is to Ugin and Breaker, but I guess I shouldn't be too greedy in the grand scheme. So we're just going to go Breaker Break. Breaker Break. No lands for you. Not allowed. You're not allowed to play Magic here. Opponent scoops it up, we'll take the win. Alright. And it's moments like these where I do remind people that what Eldrazi Ramp truly is, in many ways, shapes, and form, is tap out control. Like, it is a ramp deck, yes, but it's a control deck at heart, especially with the amount of land destruction we have available to us. Because you can't play Magic if you don't got lands. Counter Souls is out, Ghost Quarter is out, and there's still like the third one that I've always debated back and forth here. I guess no, we can trim Rumble. Right. Because I always thought about like, do we trim an Ugin, do we trim an Emrakul? We could have bring in Dismember, though Dismember has a iffy win percentage against energy, so I don't like bringing it in as much. Alright, I imagine I'll be on the draw for game 2. Sure, I suppose. I will keep. I will pass. Windswept Teeth, fetch, no. Well, that's suspect, to say the least. We'll play the Misty Rainforest and we'll pass. So this tells me they either kept a Blood Moon hand, a Charmaw hand, something that is slow and interactive rather than aggressive. Flash Yard is fine. For now, at least. There's a Plains. Is this in a Johnny or a Bombardment? It's in a Johnny. We'll fetch in response. Commercial District Surveil. Forest Yard. And pass. We'll draw. Sanctum. I would really like to stop finding lands right now. So, question now becomes, if we do assume a Blood Moon on 3 from opponent, do we want to lab Imprint Sire? Normally the answer is yes, but I think we do go Temple here instead into Rumble. And there's the Myco Spawn. We'll take the Myco Spawn, and I'll pass. We'll hold. Arena of Glory, paying cost for. There's the Blood Moon, like I thought. Thankfully, we have the Forest primed. So we'll take the 3 down to 16. And draw. Speaker. Speaker's interesting here. So the thought behind Speaker here is it puts a body on board, we get to ship a land, and we get to tutor up, let's say, I don't know, Ice Till. We're able to look for another Myco Spawn, just try and ramp into the Sire. Kind of like that idea, because Myco Spawn is mana neutral. It is not mana positive, so I think we do go Speaker here. And the question is what I'm pitching. Lab feels pretty inconsequential right now. Everything is just a mountain, so it doesn't really matter. But I think we're going to pitch the lab. We could grab a second Myco spawn, and that would work. Ice Till also is an option, though Ice Till would have to be played after Myco spawn, question mark? Yes. We'd have to go Ice Till, then Myco spawn, or Big Ore here. We could always filter using Formidable Speaker. We'd have 5 mana. We would tap 1/1, tap the forest, and basically filter. It's not my favorite thing to do, but it is an option. And that would then get us back some lands from Yard. So it's either second Myco Spawn or Ice Till. I'm tempted to go Ice Till as follow-up for the Myco. Otherwise, we go Myco, and then we have the potential to kick Myco, take the plains, which is also not a bad idea. But I think we're just trying to angle toward the Sire right now in the grand scheme. So let's go Ice Till and pass. No attacks, of course. And we hold. Best case scenario here is that we draw into our last remaining forest and we're able to play the Ice Till naturally. Though I'm hard-pressed to believe that will happen. And there's Pyro. So the Cat Warrior is more or less unblockable. So we'll pitch 2, draw 2, 2 away from Flage. They still need a plane, so they're a little bit far off. So we'll take 2 down to 14. Of course, we're not blocking. Right now, I'd love to see a K return. That would be fantastic. We'll draw. Shifting Woodland. We'll play the Stomping Ground. Cast the Myco. Yield all. We'll grab the second forest. That way we can set up for the Ice Till. And we'll pass 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do have 7 for the Sire, though. So we honestly might just play the Sire. We'll see. Either way, we're not attacking. They could theoretically flip the Johnny if they have a bombardment. I'm surprised now I think about it. So they played the Pyro, pitching a Johnny. Why didn't they just flip a Johnny with the Blood Moon on board? I'm perplexed. Like, I feel like flipping the Johnny there would have made the most sense. You wouldn't have been able to take out the speaker, but you have the blockers necessary just to keep me at bay. Weird. Very weird. Okay, well, I guess that's why, because maybe you had a third of Johnny? Jesus. Well, that's problematic. No ifs, ands, or buts about that fact. So a Johnny down, a Johnny flips. That is 6 incoming damage. Do you target me or target speaker? You will target me down to 8 and go attacking. You choose not to attack. So we're in an interesting position. Oh, well, never mind. I lied. We're no longer in an interesting position. I was going to say what we need to do is play the Sire, or attack in first to reduce the number of creatures, then attack in with, or to then block with Sire, but the Ugin changes it all. So we're just going to play Shifting Woodland. And Ugin, exile the Johnny. The Johnny is down. We're going to plus with Ugin, draw a card, World Breaker to hand, and passing. No attacks. And pass. So we're up to 11. We have enough for blockers. They don't have the second planes for Flage. So we should be in a good enough position not to die. Trying to think of how we die here. So let's say we block, you block, 2, 4, 6. I guess if they have bombardment, but it doesn't look like that because they would have played it prior to. Attacking all at me, attacking me, and attacking me. Okay, so we're going to block. We're going to block. Block the cats. Don't want to block the pyro because they can always make more tokens off the pyro. So we'll let the pyro go and exile with Ugin ideally. This will be 6 down to 5. And we'll draw. Temple. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 mana. We could 0, but I think I'm going to plus here. Sprawl. I will play Temple, target, green, Sire or Breaker. I think Sire's the better choice here. I don't think I care about Breaker right now. And Ugin, target the Pyro. So Pyro's out. Again, no attacks. We're on the defensive, especially as Ugin is at 11. So if it is able to make it a full turn without taking damage, we win on the spot. Plays an Arid Mesa, 2 in hand, and once scooped it up, we'll take the win. Solid. We'll be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3 on the draw for game 1. We'll pass in full. Opponent was last seen played Ruby Storm. Let's see if that's still the case. Elegant Parlor would suggest it might be. Keeps it on top, so we don't get much information there. We'll draw Sanctum. We'll play Temple Pass. We, at this point, need to hope that if it is Ruby Storm, that they are going to play a Ral as their reducer instead of a Medallion. Let's see. It is a Medallion. That is quite unfortunate. We'll draw. Second K command. I mean, in any other matchup, double K command X equals 2 is great, but in this matchup, game 1's looking pretty bad. This is Ruby Storm, and yeah, I'm just going to even put that in as a loss. Unless they like truly stumble, we are not going in, or we are not getting a win here. Scouting Tarn, fetch 18. Mountain. How many impulse draws you got, friend? Paying cost, Metamorphose. Up to 3 mana draw card. If nothing else, you could wish, I suppose. Ren's Resolve, Bricks, that's fantastic for me. Ritual, not as fantastic. I suppose you could wish Valakut Awakening. Draw 3. Draws 3. Ritual. Piff. In response, I'm going to ramp and exile cards in yard. So we are going to get rid of Impulse, Ren's Resolve, and done. Done. So this way we brick them on impulse draws. They still have access to the rituals, though. I did debate hitting the rituals and leaving the Manamorphose, but I think taking the impulse draws is probably better. Leave them with a Manamorphose. Ritual. Ritual. I guess you can wish now for 2. Valakut Awakening. Draw 3. Draws 3. Glimpse. Sees Ral. They can play the Ral. Wish. Triggers Ral. We pass in full. We can't do anything. They fail to flip. And they can't play anything else. They've already played their land for turn. They should be out. And they'll get 2 spawns on end step. Okay. Glimpse, trigger, draw, breaker. So as much as I would like to breaker Medallion, I think the better bet is to Bajukabog target opponent and K command out the Ral. That seems correct. Yes. So K command out the Ral. Bajukabog opponent. Do we ramp or we scry draw? I think we need to scry draw, exile, Ral. Let's start there. Ral is down. Ugin, Ice Till. Ice Till does have the Ghost Quarter loop, but I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. Ugin is a consideration here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we can't actually play it next turn, so I'm going to say bottom and draw fresh. Stomping Ground. We'll Bajukabog, target you. And at this point, pass. So we got rid of 1 reducer. Our goal is to get rid of the other reducer next turn. Maybe I should have kept the Ugin potentially. I don't know. Bloodstained Mire from exile. Fetch Surveil, I'd imagine. Yes. I don't think there's anything else they can play from exile at this point. Artist Talent. Crack a spawn 3 for Artist Talent plus. So now Artist Talent is also Reducer. It does specify non-creature spells, though, which is important here. So we're going to go Forest. So confirming 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 4, 4. So we can't play the Myco spawn this turn. And we'll Breaker. So Breaker will break Medallion. Especially because also Devour can hit Artist Talent. Another reason why maybe I should have kept Ugin, potentially. 2, 4, 5. No, we still would have been a turn short of Ugin, so the Mega Spawn is probably better in the grand scheme. Okay. So yeah, I would love to see Devour off top at this talent then. Would be my thought process. Ren's Resolve. Finds finds Harebrained Scheme. Okay. Plays a Sunbait Canyon. Harebrained Scheme. Finds Manamorphose, Valakut Awakening. Plays the Manamorphose. Yes, Artist Talent actually... Maybe I should have taken the Artist Talent. Just because of the fact that they're able to redraw. That is actually relevant. Versus the Ruby Medallion does discount Ral, but I think the redraw is more important. Yeah, I'm going to say I misplayed there in the grand scheme. I should have chosen differently, I think. There's Ral. Manamorphose from hand. Fails to flip. Still has a Ritual to cast. There's the Ritual. Flips Ral. Yeah, in retrospect, I made a mistake. No, I 1000% made a mistake there. I should have hit the Artist Talent so they couldn't go digging. I was thinking, well, the Medallion reduces both non-creatures and Ral, whereas Medallion reduces everything. So I was like, well, maybe the tax on Ral could be relevant. Yeah, opponent has it, so we're going to scoop it up. Mm, yeah, in retrospect, I should have went for the artist talent. Alright, let's bring in Soulish Jailer, Flute, Dismember, Bauble Cage, Cavern of Souls, Gemstone, Ghost Quarter, Ice Till. What else? 2 Ugins and 2 K returns, I believe. Yes. Yeah. I looked at like the value of just the reducing of cost, and for some reason I just let it slip my mind about the additional value that artist talent provides and be able to cycle through your hand. So I really should have hit the artist talent. Comparing just the reducing of costs, Ruby Medallion was the right choice. Looking at the additional value of artist talent was the right choice, and I, for some reason, just let that slip my mind at the time. I will keep this. It's a bit slow, but it is workable. Because we have the Jailer on 2. We reveal Devour. And what do we find? Trinisphere as well. I will take the Trinisphere. In a commercial district, see the Trinisphere, keep that on top, and pass, and pass. Of course, we're going to have to draw into a land to play the Trinisphere on 3, but the Jailer alone should buy us time to do so. We're going to shock, cast the Jailer, and pass. The alternative, of course, would have been to play the Talisman and play the Trinisphere on 2, or play the Trinisphere on curve on 3. But there's a possibility now that we can play the Jailer on 2 and Trinisphere on 3 if we draw into a land, and we have a high likelihood of drawing one. So that's why I feel relatively comfortable with this. Bloodstained Mire, Mountain, Medallion, draw, Flute. Play the Talisman, and we're going to pass. So we whiffed on the land drop. Talisman acts as our quote-unquote land drop. So they can't impulse draw as it currently stands. They do have an untimely malfunction, though. And that will let them go off. If I know the ritual, up to 4. If they have a piff, they're in a pretty decent position, all things considered. They'll surveil, and then piff. Reckless Impulse, Manamorphose Talent. There's the talent to cycle. Manamorphose will cycle through their hand. So I have 3 mana. So no piff. There's Ral. Can they flip the Ral? Storm count 9. Fail to flip the Ral. Draws a card. 4 mana. 1 card in hand. Is it piff? No. Plus the artist talent. And passing. Breaker, again, could really use some lands, but we'll play the Trinisphere and pass. So now they should only be able to play 1 spell a turn. And there's a Scouting Tarn. Fetch, Surveil, I'd imagine. Sacred Foundry tapped, so no Surveil. 3 mana. For Medallion, triggering Artist Talent to draw, and then hit me for 1 down to 17. We'll draw. I will cast the Rumble. Rumble. Temple. Play Temple. And hold up K Command X1. This also allows us to hold up Flute on the off chance they destroyed a Trinisphere, so we can also name Ral. Take 1 down to 16. They're down to 14. fails to find. Artist talent's level 3. And we'll draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How much mana do I have access to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have we seen Bajukabog yet? We have not. So we can go Myco Kick. Yep, Myco Kick. Hit a land. And then Bajukabog. So this way, a Piff is fully offline. So Yard is out. No attacks my opponent, of course. We'll draw a second breaker. So I'm going to cast Breaker, hit an Elegant Parlor, put them underneath Trinisphere. And opponent Scoop It Up will take the win. Because now we'll just hit their lands until they can't play anything indefinitely. Gemstone in, Rumble out, run it back. Hand is slow. On the play, I might be tempted, but on the draw, I think I have to mulligan this. There's Trinisphere. We'll keep. We'll pitch the Sire. Done. Reveal. We're looking for Lab and passing. Devour trigger. There's a Temple. Not exactly what I was looking for, but we will take. We get another look by going Misty Rainforest to Commercial District. So we're going to go that route. Otherwise, next turn we just have to hope on K Command or Talisman, I guess. But we get another 2 looks off of this Misty Rain. Mountain and Medallion. In response, I'm going to fetch, Surveil, Trigger, Yard, and draw. Flute. So now we're going to hold up Flute K Command. This way we can Flute Ral on flip. Or let's say a Piff if we see them lining up for Piff. If not, we can ramp for K Command into Trinisphere for next turn. Very big if. I'm not confident we get a next turn, to be honest. I was very much banking on Devour finding some acceleration. Whether that have been, I guess Sprawl wouldn't have cut it on the play, or on the draw, no, that would have been fine. Yeah, I guess, no, we are at 2, so we really did need Lab. We really did need Lab. Manamorphose, up to 3 mana. Impulse. Sees Impulse. Manamorphose up to 3 mana. Impulse finds lands. Okay. So they have enough mana for Piff, but they don't have anything for it after. So they need another ritual before the Piff. Impulse draw. Finds Ral Manamorphose. Manamorphose. We could name Ral right now, but there's not necessarily a reason to do so. Up to 3. Ral. Grape Shot. Ral Flip. Ral flips. In response, we're going to flute. Name Ral Leyline Prodigy. I'll pass. They had the untimely malfunction. Wild. Alright, well, let's see what Ral hits. Ral hits Impulse and some rituals. So it actually comes down to these rituals, or Impulse. There's the Piff. And with that, they should win. Yes. At this point, I will concede. There's the Piff. Yep, we'll concede at this point. Unfortunate. Just was not able to find the lands we needed, and even with the flute naming Ral, they still had the malfunction to get around it. Alright, we'll be back for match number 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the draw for game 1. We have some interesting choices here, whether or not we want to play Speaker on 2, or if we want to play Shadow Spear. So that is Affinity, most likely. Lab. We'll fetch for a Forest. Sprawl. For green or for red, we'll go for green and pass and pass. So yeah, it comes down to whether or not we want to like ramp or if we want to speaker. Speaker will look at having us have how much mana the following turn? 3, 4, 5. It might not matter though if they just dump their hand into a Kappa here. They do not though, so it looks like a bit of a slow hand for opponent. Their lab. Alright, so how much mana do I have otherwise? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana next turn. Versus if we play the speaker, we play a land, we play a talisman. I guess, so we play a land, we have 4, 5. So there's no way we get to 7 or even 6, I don't think. Unless we draw into a 7 value spell, I guess. But is a kicked Mega Spawn worth it right now? That I'm not sure about. Not to mention what we pitch. So we go 4, 5, 6. We find a 7 value spell for kicked Myco. Do we care about kicked Myco? Maybe not. So instead, we would go Talisman into Sprawl, which would get net me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 next turn. Yeah, I think we'll go that direction. Let's hyper accelerate into potential top decks here. Go for more green, and at that point, pass. And pass. So it's definitely Affinity. So our top decks now include Myco Spawn, Sire, Ugin, pretty much everything with the exception of Emrakul, more or less. Looks like a Kappa. That is unfortunate. And they're holding up the welding jar for regeneration. Interesting. We'll draw. And there's Sire. Okay. So we can play the lab. No imprint. There is Sire. Yield all. Question now becomes, do we crack the Sanctum? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So nowhere near Emrakul right now. I'm thinking the answer is no. Because what would we want to grab off of it? I don't know, maybe Mycospawn? Is that good enough, though? Maybe not. Though I guess we could grab a second Sire. Yeah, that's another thought. Yeah, second Sire might not be the worst idea. It does get a bit interesting no matter how we slice it, though. So 2 cards in hand, both unknown. Sire will resolve. We have a second Sire primed, and we can play around Rebuke. This means the drones can't attack, and they also can't block. Kappa can block, but they're likely to attack. So this is going to become a battle of attrition, if nothing else. Yeah. The question is, was Sire the right choice? And that I don't know, especially if the Spell Bomb about to pop this Sire back to hand. So there goes Spell Bomb. Sire pops back to hand. We'll take 8 down to 10. We'll draw. We'll play Lab. No imprint. And we'll cast Sire number 2. We'll pass. And pass. So right now they have a potential 7 damage going at me right now as it stands. Robots. So that is 7. They can present 8. Okay, so they choose not to equip. No, it's an equip 2, not 1. So I guess that could be why. Emrakul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're still short. So let's go to combat to start. And attack. So now we're back up to 10. We can attempt to cast the Sire. However, we run the risk of being rebuked. The alternative thought here is to play the Speaker, which cannot be rebuked. I guess the question here is, opponent will be able to cast Pinnacle Emissary, which will trigger Ravenous Robots. And that'll create a token, triggering Kappa twice, up to 9. I think we have to just jam the second Sire, unfortunately. Do you have the Rebuke as the last card in hand? You do not. Puts in play tapped, and we'll pass. Okay. This becomes interesting now. Urza Saga. We have to be mindful of the fact, I guess they can't skateboard now because they're under 7. Weapons. Closet Gix. Closet Gix will get them the win. Wow. Because weapons will trigger. That's 9. They attack and then EE? Or are they short on EE? They are short on EE? No, they don't need E. They have claws, which only needs 1. So we die. Oh, it's also 10. Yeah, never mind. We are dead like 3 different ways there. So they must have pocketed either claws or weapons and just drew into the other for the win. Jesus. Okay, so Dismember in, Vexing Bauble in, Fade in. Most lists, to my knowledge, no longer play Emery, if I'm not mistaken. Let me confirm that real quick. Do they still play Emery? 2 copies, 2.71, so 3 copies on average. So they still play Emery. So, Bajugabog might want to stay. Countersoul stays. Ghost Quarter should probably stay. Gemstone out. I think Ice Till out. They're going to bring in Consign. So the question is, how many Ugins and Emrakuls do you want to take out? I do like K-Return. It is good at just sweeping the drones, which can be something that stick around even after you get rid of, let's say, a Kappa. So the question now becomes, do we drop the K-Returns or an Ugin and an Emrakul? We also could just go 2 Ugins, and I think that's also just reasonable. Yeah, let's do that. Opponent's sideboard-wise, likely Consign, Damping Sphere, potentially Harbinger. It does look like the sideboard of Affinity isn't exactly a settled thing as of right now. But very common for them to have 2 Trinispheres and at least 2 Consigns. Everything else a little bit more unknown, it looks like. We submitted our deck. We're just waiting on opponent. Yeah, the Ravenous Robots are pretty good. Interesting. Someone played in a 5K, got 4th place with a Master of Ethereum. Wild. Would not have expected that. On the play for game 2. So this is a turn 1 bauble. I will keep. Opponent looks down to 6. We'll play Temple, play the Bauble, and Bess. So we have a K Command X 1 on 2. Ideally, we find either another Temple, a Forest to Forest equivalent, or a 7 mana value spell. So we have plenty of hits here. Opponent will play EE for 1 for the Bauble. Makes sense. Dismember. In that case, do we want to just hold up Mana to Crack for the Bauble? Maybe. Otherwise, I can K Command X1 here, Rampant Scry Draw. I think we're going to go that route. Rampant Scry Draw with the trigger on the stack. And done. Temple, put that on top, and we'll pass. So now we get to hold up Dismember. And we hold. We hold up Dismember, we hold up Vexing Bauble, right? Question is, do I want to crack the Vexing Bauble in response to the EE? Maybe. Ravenous Robots is fine. In response to the Ravenous Robots, I'm going to Dismember you. And at that point, I'm going to pass in full. We're going to draw. Stomping Ground. So we could grab the Temple and K Command, or I could Rumble here. I think Rumbling will be beneficial. We're going to Shock. I'm gonna rumble. Myco spawn. We'll grab. We have a K command, X equals 1 as needed. 4 types in yard. And we'll hold. Harbinger of the Sea. Well, that does complicate things. I was not expecting the Harbinger. So this actually might be the exact list I was looking at. Looks like Modern 10K, second place. It did run one Harbinger in the side, so that would make the most sense. I'm going to K command X equals 1, ramp and scry draw. And done. Temple bottom draw, rumble. That is unfortunate because now I do not have a green source for Myco or the rumble. We'll draw. Devour. We'll play the temple and we'll pass. Yeah, I was not expecting the Harbinger. I guess I should have played around the possibility, but it did not cross my mind that they actually were on it, given the meta share was pretty low. Down to 10. Pain cost for Emery. Finds another EE and a robots. Question now becomes, do I crack the bauble to dig deeper? We go to end step. We need to do something at some point. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. I will stay for another turn, I think. We'll draw. We'll play the bog, and we'll pass. They'll likely replay the Ravenous Robots. No, they don't have the mana for it. They can't do that just yet. EE. Little attack. No block. We're down to 7. You crack the EE. You play an EE with X equals 1. Sure. Oh, that's X equals 0. Oh, I see what you did there. That was smart. You used the colorless from Saga. Gotcha. Because since it still paid a cost, it played around the bauble. Smart. We're going to crack the bauble here. We're kind of in dire straits. There's a forest. Okay. We'll draw a second Myco. So we are going to want to play around Rebuke, but we can't exactly play around Consign. So let's play around the Rebuke first off and foremost. Yield all. Do you have Consign? There's Rebuke. I will pay the 3 for the body. So here I'm going to grab a second forest. The body resolves, so now we can block. Grab back welding jar. That's fine. No attacks, I'd imagine. We'll draw. Fade from history, you say? With this Emery still on board, I'm hesitant to go for the fade, so I think I'm going to start with the rumble. sprawls. I suppose I'll grab a sprawl. Now I could kick Mycospawn and get rid of the Saga, though I'm not entirely confident that is necessary. So instead, I will simply just cast Mycospawn. Myco number 2. If you have a Rebuke here, you do have it. You don't, though, so I'm going to grab another Forest. And Sprawl. 4 green. And pass. No attacks. I guess I probably should have went red for the K returns. EE. That's fine. And we'll pass. They attack. So they want to unlock their colored sources. This is fine by me. I'm going to double block. Saga trigger. Emery target robots. Robots are fine. Weapons. Robots. Triggers weapons. Okay. This is going to make things interesting. Draw. Stomping Ground. They have 1 mana up, but could still have Rebuke. So I'm thinking we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and Fade from History. Welding Jar target robots will resolve. Munitions will target, imagine me, down to 5. You have 1 mana up, which could be a consign. So what I'm going to do now is go to combat. Down to 10. I'm going to devour Emery first. Do you have consign? So no matter what, Emery's down. If it's a rebuke, they can't counter it. If it's a consign, they either give me the Emery or they give me the board. There's consign. Yield all. I'll take the board with a devour. We'll play a Stomping Ground tapped, and I'll pass. This is a good example of why I don't want to cut Fade, because Fade can just be so game-changing. Bauble target me. They drew fresh. Bauble trigger. What did they see? They saw Ghost Quarter. They should have 1 basic. We have not seen their 1 basic. So it's likely still in their deck. Let's go to combat. Swing with Devour. Down to 3. I still think I'm going to go after their Steam Vents here. And they fail to find. Alright, we'll hold the K command. We have lethal on board, and they have 1 mana. Yep, they had it in hand. Do you have anything to stop the Devour? They do not. We'll take the win. That was looking pretty dicey, but we got out of it. We'll trim a Rumble and run it back. I'll say Bobble gets much worse here on the draw than on the play. It's sometimes it's something that I do consider just taking out on the draw, but the opponent doesn't always have a turn 1 dump hand plan. Sometimes it does get pushed back to turn 2, 3, so that's why I still like having the Bobble accessible. Opponent starts with 7. We get to look 4 deep. The best card we find is K Command. After K Command, what's our best find? Maybe Rumble? Maybe Bobble? The question is, a turn 2 Rumble good enough right now? The problem with Affinity, it is either 0 or 100. You never find an Affinity hand that's somewhere in the middle. Either it's a dirtling piece of crap, or it just has a turn 1 Kappa. So, like, I want to keep this hand, but I don't think I can. So I'm going to mulligan it. This is interesting. It's turn 1 removal, but again, being on the draw means if they have a turn 1 Pinnacle Emissary, we do nothing. The Dismember does nothing. At best, we'd want to find a way to get to the K return on 2, maybe a Sprawl off the Devour. But again, after, we really are doing nothing. Affinity is just one of those decks that I just truly loathe. I'll mulligan again. And maybe I should have kept that one. Sure, we'll keep this. Pitch Myco spawns, honestly. Oh, I need to pitch one more. K return. Cool. Yep, I probably should have kept that other one. I don't know. None of them felt like they're going to be great. Bauble. Claws. That's Rebuke mana. There's Emery. I guess a Dismember would have been good for Emery here, and that Kappa is frightening. We're going to imprint the Breaker. Yeah, so if we had kept the Dismember, we could have dismembered the Emery, kept the Kappa off board. Maybe that would have been the play. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so they don't care about the Kappa yet, so they don't have a Kappa. At least they don't have one this turn. Otherwise, why crack the Bauble? So they must be setting up for Kappa in a future turn? Question mark. 4 mana. Shock 18. Damping Sphere. Oh boy. Yes, that will resolve, question mark. Do I want to cycle this K command? Honestly, right now, I think I'm going to cycle this K command. Because it is doing nothing otherwise. Misty Rainforest? Oofda. I think my only hope here is a Fade at this point. Is to somehow resolve a Fade. Shifting Woodland, not it. We'll play the Misty Rainforest to Surveil and pass. Paying cost. Emissary. Keep in mind that you're going to be taxed now by Damping Sphere. Yield all. And then attack for 1, or you're going to bring back a Bauble. I guess you can't bring back a Bauble. It's going to cost 2, right? End step. Pinnacle Emissary. In response, I'm going to fetch and Surveil. Ugin Lab to Yard. If I could stop finding lands, that would be really nice. Do you want to bring back the World Breaker at this point? Sure. We'll draw. K command. So we can lab, no imprint, hold the K command now. So if they do go for the Pinnacle or for the Kappa, we can get rid of the Kappa now. Pain cost. Target Bauble. That's concerning. Yes, that will resolve. So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no matter what, they have the mana to cast the Kappa from hand, even if I were to get rid of the drone. Yes, that will resolve. Yep, there's Kappa. Kappa will resolve. So, how do we want to proceed here? I'm going to ramp and scry draw. Again, I think my only hope here is a Fade from History. That is another K command. It's not a Fade from History, but it can dig us to a Fade. We'll take it. We'll draw. Formidable Speaker. Can we do anything worth our while with Formidable Speaker? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not really, no. So I think my best play here is to play Shifting Wood and hold the K command, or do I want to cast the K command now? I'm going to cast the K command now while shields are down. X equals 3. There's the Fade. We bottom, we top, we draw, we pass. Now I just need to ensure that the Fade resolves. Bauble target me, sees nothing of relevance. We're going to hold. Land. Weapons. Bauble. Plays Bauble. Triggers weapons. Hi, butter. Yeah, hi. Well, yield. I can't do much about either of these, so they will just resolve. Yes. We're going to take 7 down to 11 down to 10 as it stands. Down to 10. Yes. Pain cost. Weapons. Target spawn. We'll sack in response. And draw. Myco. Bauble target me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're unfortunately short 1. If they... Oh, that's so unfortunate. So if they had not done that, I would have been able to Myco spawn. I would have been able to Fade and Myco spawn into a bog. But unfortunately, we don't have that option now. What we can do, though, is we can Stomping Ground and Speaker as well as Fade. That we can do. Their shields are down. Everything will get swept with the exception of Emery. And Emery's the issue as of this moment. So I think we go for the fade, one way, shape, or form. So they should not have mana for rebuke. We don't need to worry about rebuke. Let us cast fade. Ball will target me. I will then play Stomping Ground Shock and cast Speaker. Speaker will pitch Breaker. Yes. The question now becomes, what do I grab off of Speaker? Alright, Butter. You cannot have my cinnamon roll, and you cannot have my water, but you're very cute. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are still shy of Emrakul. Yes, Butter, shy of Emrakul. We could consider a second Myco spawn and just go kicking, I suppose. Hi, yes, you're very cute, but don't step on the keyboard, bud. No, you cannot have cinnamon roll. You might be a cinnamon roll, but you cannot have a cinnamon roll. Alright. So what do we grab? Second Myco spawn, an Emrakul. Because next turn my hope is that we can Myco spawn into a Bojuka Bog. That is my ideal outcome, to get rid of everything in their yard. I'm going to go for second Myco, and we're going to pass. Double Bobble Trigger will pass. Yes, Bubber. There's robots. Emery target Bobble. Bobble target robots. Rebuke is online. Skateboard taps Speaker. Haste tokens with robots and hit me for 4. Is that the thought process here? Actually, you can hit me for 6 if you equip Skateboard, but you choose not to. That's peculiar. Bobble draw. And draw. Rumble. Oh boy. So I now have to ask myself a question. Why did opponent not haste their robots or equip Skateboard? Obviously, the main thought is they either have A, rebuke, or B, consign. If they have consign, let's say, and they consign the body, do I lose? 2, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I would lose. If they have rebuke, we would still lose because we'd lose the body. So the thought here is that we go rumble to get a body. There's a Cavern of Souls. That is perfect. Play Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi. So no matter what, now we get a body. And now we can Bojuka Bog target opponent. Their yard is out, so no more Kappa to worry about, and we have blockers on board. I will pass. The worst case scenario here is they have a third Kappa in hand. Weapons. Land. Pinnacle Emissary. Pinnacle Emissary. Triggers robots, triggers weapons. Opal. They could equip Skateboard the Pinnacle Emissary. Or they could haste the... Oh, hasting the tokens might win them the game. 3... So 3, 4, 5, block. No, so we're not dead to hasting robots yet. That ain't looking good. What I need now is a 7-mana value spell. I kind of wish I may have grabbed something else then. At a time, though, we weren't guaranteed the mana we have. We'll take the hit down to 4. We'll draw. Second Mycospawn doesn't cut it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. And we're short on returning Breaker to hand as well. So I'm fairly certain that we lose here. But let me confirm before saying with any degree of certainty. It's 2 in the air, so no matter what, we get hit there. We have how many ground blockers? We have theoretically 5. We can only let 1 through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means we're going to take enough damage to lose. Yeah, I mean, we didn't know about the return in Yard. We didn't know we'd have enough mana for the 7-mana value spell here. We have nothing in Yard that we can our Shifting Woodland that'd be relevant. We can Mycospawn and Mycospawn, but then we're dead to the current board state. We can, theoretically speaking, Mycospawn and Shifting, but I still think that will mean we lose. Because we just simply don't have enough bodies. So I will concede. Unfortunate. Maybe? No. I think it would be looking too far into the future for me to say of certainty that I should have grabbed a 7-mana value spell. Or even an Emrakul for that matter. It would have been way too future sighty. So I don't think we could reasonably do so. Alright. We'll be back for match number 5. Alright, we're back for match 5 on the play for game 1. I will keep. This one's definitely interesting. Opponent goes down to 5. I mean, we could sand back the Mycospawn for the turn, and then set up for the kicked Mycospawn. That is an option, followed by the Breaker on 4. I guess it depends on the matchup, right? For example, our opponent was on Tron 16 days ago, so if they still are on Tron, then potentially just sandbagging the Mycospawn is the play. But we also find ourselves with another Mycospawn on top, so honestly we don't even need to do that. And pass, and pass. So we can just go Mycospawn into Breaker into Mycospawn, which can grab Ghost Quarter, but this does not look like Tron. That looks like a Spiral of Canal. My guess would be Affinity. That in mind, I think we should ramp here. Yield all. So definitely not Tron at the very least. I will grab another Temple, yes. And we'll pass. And pass. Alright, so let's figure out what this is. Does look like Affinity. Could also be Cutter, I suppose. It is weapons. That is Affinity for sure. Bauble, trigger, weapons. Bauble, target me. Gix. Crypt. And one last card in hand. EE, Jesus. So that's representing 8 damage as of right now. Bobble trigger K command. So we can actually do a couple of things here. We can A, Mycospawn kick hit the Saga. That's an option. B, we can go for the EE and pop the EE and take that off of board. That way they can't pop the munitions in one fell swoop, but they still have the Clawsake, so that doesn't seem like a good option. So I'm thinking we will go with Mycospawn. Yep, we're going to kick the Myco for sure. And hit the Urza Saga. Urza Saga's down. I'm going to grab a Temple. And we're going to grab Lab and Imprint. We're going to lose that on a mana, but we get the hold up K command X2. Let's go to combat. Down to 17. And opponent is passing. I'm going to return World Breaker to hand. And draw. Ice Till. Not the draw I wanted to see right now. We're going to attack in for 6. They could crack the EE or a Claws to then shoot down the Mycos, is a thought. That does look like what they're going to do. Yep, that's fine. Down to 15. Second main. We are going to cast Breaker. Breaker is going to hit the Islet. That way they can't get value off of it. And we're going to pass. Hold on with the K command X1. Saga trigger. One card in hand. We can return Devour to eat the weapons, is my thought here. We'll draw. Rumble. Let's start by going to combat. Opponent is down to 7. I'm going to Rumble. Middle speaker, Sire, Ugin. We're going to grab the Sire. Cast Devour. I guess hit Devour Sire here. I actually think I'm going to grab Sire. Because Sire represents lethal damage. There's Rebuke. We will not pay the cost. I guess we should have played around Rebuke. I'll pass. Saga trigger. Thankfully, we can get rid of the construct with K commands. That's not an issue, necessarily. We'll draw. K return. Well, let's deal with the construct first. Let's go to combat. This is lethal damage, so they need to block. They make a construct, and in response, we're going to scry draw exile the construct. I like to leave up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can tap 1. And done. The construct is down. And that should just be the game. Okay. Let's go sideboard. We're going to bring in Bauble. We're going to bring in Fade and Dismember. We're going to trim a Rumble, Ice Till, and Ugin. Run it back. Alrighty. Hi, Butter. Yeah, you. You're very cute. Butter has decided to grace me with his presence and sit on the bed. Alright. Let's see if we can get a clean 2-0 win against Affinity. It would be nice. This hand is kind of meh, though. I will keep it regardless and dig with Devour. Let's see what we can find. Shivan Reef, passing. So Bauble seems decent here. Fade, of course. There's a K return and a Rumble. I'm going to take... Man, actually this... So, I like everything but Sprawl here. K return's good if they set up with Pinnacle Emissary next turn. K command's good in general, but a bit slow right now. Rumble, of course, is a good turn too, but I think I'm going to grab the K return. So let's do that. Commercial District Surveil. Devour to Yard, and pass. So this way, if they try and flood the board with a Pinnacle Emissary or set up with an Emery, we can then K return out. There's the Pinnacle Emissary. Are they going to flood the board? The hope here is they do not have a turn 2 Kappa, though, unless they have a, whatchamacallit, Opal, though, they shouldn't. There's an EEE's fine. Do you have an Opal? You do not. And that's where K return is good. We'll draw. Lab. Imprint, Devour. We have no reason to delay, so we're going to K return now and pass. We'll pass in full. So now we need to try and accelerate into Sire. That would be ideal. Damping Sphere. That's annoying, but fine. We'll draw. So in that case, I'll play Verdant Catacomb, fetch for a forest. Sprawl for green or for red. I'm going to say red in case they're playing Harbinger. So red. And we'll pass. No reason to return the Devour just yet. We might want to do it on end step, though. We'll see. Three in hand. There's an Arcbound Ravager. End step. Do we want to return the Devour? I'll say yes. And draw. Stomping Ground. Not doing too much here. So we're going to play Stomping Ground, tapped, and pass. We're 2 turns off of Sire or Devour. We're going to hold this to represent that we could have something. Pain cost. Weapons. So we definitely would like to get rid of the Ravager and weapons for sure. We'll take 1. Down to 18. And draw. Second Sire's pretty good. No imprint. And we'll pass. And we'll hold. So at this point, we're just trying to see if we can land this Sire next turn. Thankfully, the Cavern of Souls will guarantee its resolution. Alright, opponent. What else you got? Attack for 1. Down to 17. They will have to Tormod script me. So, Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi. Unfortunately, we're 3 short of the Emrakul, but we will be able to guarantee Sire's 7 death. Opponent will hit the Tormod script, will pass in full. Sire will resolve. And so now they need to somehow grow this Arcbound Ravager above and beyond the Sire. Either that or kill me with non-combat damage at this point. There's the Pinnacle Emissary. Another Warp. I don't imagine you have much else for follow-up, though, but you do sacrifice it to the Arcbound Ravager. That is interesting to me. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't have enough to trade outright. Let's start by going to combat. Opponent will take it down to 7, up to 24. We're just going to go for a second Sire. I don't think they can deal 2. Play Windswept Teeth will pass. And we'll just put a pause. Actually, we'll hold. They could play a Harbinger regardless. There's a Mox Opal, triggering the weapons. So now they do have the ability to theoretically trade with a Sire if they have another blocker, but right now they don't. They do need another blocker, and Damage Sphere taxing them is not going to make their life easy. Did opponent forget about the tax? They did not. There's Krang, which will draw them another 3 cards. Okay. So now they can block. Triggers. They're looking at 8 damage from the munitions. Still not enough to kill me, though. And the Sires have pseudo hexproof unless they can sign the ward trigger or find a way to gain life, which they could through Closet Gix. Springleaf Drum. Okay. And that's 10. Krang is an 11-4. If they do tap down, though, we can devour Krang and that will guarantee lethal damage. Because they can't really attack, because we'll just block with a Sire. So that's not an option. They can't really... If they sit back and block, they'll need a consign to deal with Devour. Or Ugin, depending. Interesting. I mean, that is 3, 4, 5, 5, 11, 21, 22, 3, 4. I mean, that's lethal damage. I have to block it. How big can you get, though? 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I can double block you, and you will still die. Confirming one more time. 3, sacrifice. and artifact 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 13. Yes, you are at 13. Yep, double blocking makes sense here then. Because you can't target... Yeah, you can't target with the munitions. Opponent will scoop it up and take the win. Solid. Alright. Well, that there will be the end of tonight's league with a 3-2 record at the end of 5. Our losses being to Ruby Storm and Affinity. Definitely feel like I could have played a little bit more efficiently against Affinity in match 4. And I forget about Ruby Storm. Potentially. I think we took a risky game 3 hand that if it had paid off, we'd be in a good position, but unfortunately we didn't, so variance gonna variance, what are you gonna do? But otherwise, deck still feels good, still feel like a bit of a rough patch, but I also will attribute it to the idea, or either the fact, that I'm playing significantly less Magic than I have previously. Normally, if I would start with, let's say, 2 losses at the start of a league, I would drop and then start a new league, right? So some nights I might play 7, might play 10 rounds of Magic. And so I think that also is skewing perception of, since I'm playing less Magic, it seems like we're not performing as well, when really I just have fewer bites of the apple to demonstrate the benefit or the power of the deck, right? So I think there's a give and take that they had there. I also do think my variance has been pretty bad, but seems to be slightly improving. Though I won't discount the fact that maybe I need to make some more tuning and some adjustments to the deck. Regardless, feeling good with it, so can't complain too much. But with that being said, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please consider any like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback being much appreciated. For as much that I help y'all learn from me and with my success and failure, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you're responding to the video and haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button as we do continue to grow this channel. However, if you would like to watch these videos recorded live over on Twitch, you can find me over there at insert time here. I was going to try and find a different way of saying that, but TLDR, my schedule's still a bit sporadic, so I'd recommend follow me over my socials on Twitter and Blue Sky, or join my Discord server so you can be notified when I go live. Otherwise, you can head over to my Patreon where you can find these videos ad-free and early. And don't forget, you have one more match right after this. It is without my microphone, unfortunately, but it is a good match against Eldrazi Tron. With that being said, though, folks, I will see you next time. Bye-bye!